What do you say to the coaches, to the people on Twitter or whatever, who are like anti-individual technical training or saying that that will not work? What's your response to that?
I don't think any player has ever gotten to the highest level with only doing what they've done in a group. I mean, even if you think about shooting the ball, you see pro players all the time staying after training, practicing free kicks. There's no chance you can get enough repetition striking the ball to learn to strike the ball in a shooting drill in a training session. That's your test. Like, did I learn to do this right on my own so that I can do, even if you got 15 repetitions in a group session, can you do 12 or 15? Well, so for me, it's like such a crazy debate, and it only makes sense if you're talking about such limited time playing where you have to pick one or the other. But no players play this sport well and don't ever spend time with the ball on their own. That's crazy.
It depends on where you want to get. So, okay, if you want to be a D student in school, just give 60% effort. If you want to be a C student, if you want to be an A, you're gonna have to do extra work. You have to do extra. Whatever you do in life, you have to do extra, right? It's just normal. If you're in school and you're doing math and you're at a B level, you need to do extra work. You go do extra lessons, get a tutor, you get, so you can get an A. So it all depends on the level the parent or the kid wants to go at, right? So if I want to be a pro player or a college player, or you have to. If you just want to be an elite player at your local club, I think you still need extra work. If you just want to be a rec player, so it depends on the level you want to be.
I have a U10 team I'm coaching right now, and there's a pretty big division on the team. There's like 6 or so top players, 4 or so on the bottom, and the 4 or so that are on the bottom don't do any extra training, and that's fine for them. But they're going to stay stagnant or probably not continue to develop or maybe make the team under this team next year, and that's okay too. What do you say to the parent who wants the kid that doesn't want to do the extra training to train? What's your advice to them? A parent kind of is asking that. Like, how do you build more intrinsic motivation? Jackie asks.
It has to be fun. So if your son or daughter is not having fun, it's kind of a non-starter. So it's critical. I guarantee you, if your son or daughter is playing soccer right now on a club team, and you get her or he into an environment where she's doing technical training and it's fun, they'll love it. It's just finding that perfect scenario. Go with some of her teammates. It's one of those things. But if some kids just don't like it, or they're just playing soccer because their friends are playing, it's not that serious. So I think it's important that we get to know our kids individually, and we can get into that because I have 4 and they're all different. But it's the ones that you don't want to force it on them. I don't believe in. My she's committed to Tennessee in a full ride. She never played soccer till she started soccer till she's 12. I never forced her, and so I believe in for me, I love the game so much. You have to have the passion to do it, or just don't do it. Like I told her, don't do it. If you not want to do it, don't do it.
Kelvin is asking about motivating a younger player to put extra work in outside of practice.
The bottom line is, I think that anything you're doing, if it's an elongated time of forcing, for lack of a better word, a player to do something, even if it's encouraging or whatever you want to call it, if it's not coming from them, that will only last so long. And this is true. I've seen players who, like, at a young age were the next best thing, and they don't even love the game anymore. They don't even love the game. So like none of it is worth it. If it doesn't catch on to become theirs. That being said, like you said, Sky, there are things you can do to try to understand why it is. If it's that they don't enjoy the sport, they don't want to play more than they are, then I think like nothing you can do is worth pushing them on it. If it's maybe a confidence issue, my biggest theory a lot of times is that players either don't know what to do, so they feel kind of lost and it's boring to them because they just don't have the ideas, or they, are asked to commit to too much. Like going out for an hour to do a training session is a lot. And for some kids, that's just not appropriate. So what I always say is like, make it so minimal that it's like almost impossible not to do, and see if that helps. So maybe to give the player some ideas of things to work on and say like, let's just do 5 minutes a day this week. And maybe then in that time, they feel themselves getting better. And one day they want to do 10 minutes or whatever it is. And for every person and every player, it's potentially a different barrier to entry.
What's going on with our structures, our youth culture ecosystem within soccer? that confidence and player individual confidence is struggling, and how can we help?
It's not for every player to try to be a professional player or play college soccer. And you don't have to do those things to be confident. You don't have to be recruited to be confident. But I do think confidence stems from knowing that you have a competency and that you've done the work. And that's where a lot of players, I think, the biggest, you asked before a little bit about like the feedback we've gotten through the app. The biggest feedback we got from Techne is that the players who use it feel more confident on the ball, whether it's in actualized skill because they can do more, or just because they know they maybe did something that their teammates didn't do. It is so important psychologically for a player to feel prepared or confident. They understand what's going on. They're coming to this group with a little bit of extra knowledge.
What brings confidence is success. So what brings success? I'm talking about on the soccer side, and then we can get into life. But on the soccer side, what brings confidence is success. So if you feel like you're getting better, and what makes you get successful is repetition. So the more time you juggle, the better you're going to be, and then your confidence is going to grow. The more time you spend on the ball, whatever drills you're doing, the more repetition you get, the more confident you're going to get because you're seeing success. Like now, I used to be the worst juggler on my team. Now I'm the best. Now you're confident, or I'm the best dribbler because you're spending more time, which is where the individual technical training come in. Because everybody needs to understand we're playing a team sport, yes, but individuals have a role to play within the team. And my role is that individually, I have to be the best that I can be to help my team. And the other piece is on the coach's side. When coaches don't let kids make mistakes, allow them to make mistakes, encourage mistakes, that's where confidence gets broken as well. You have to encourage mistakes. Only way we learn is from mistakes. So try your step overs, Amelia. If you drop, who cares? Try it again. Try it again. And once you do it and it works, as Yael said, in a pickup game, your confidence goes through the roof. So we have to encourage our kids. I tell my kids, if you don't make a mistake today, I have an issue with you. You have to take risk and you have to make mistakes. You have to. That's the only way we learn.
And as kids grow and change and mature, their body changes and their confidence often changes because they can't move at moments as well as they used to.
One, that passes for a lot of players. Everybody grows into their own physical maturity, but still as a physically mature player may fall anywhere on the spectrum of athleticism. And that's one reason that I love the technical side of the game, is because it provides that consistency and there's no physical separation or no reason, if you're going through a growth spurt or not, and maybe you're a little bit smaller of a player or whatever, that's the one equalizing thing. And that's what, for me too, between girls, boys, tall, short, whatever, like there's no reason why everybody, if you're not as good on the ball, it's because you didn't put in the work to be good on the ball.
Respond to the idea of sports specialization, because just like individual technical training gets a bad rap, I think we have this idea of like sports specialization is evil and wrong, and like we want our kids to be interacting with the ball as much as possible.
Am I okay with doing multiple sports? Sure. I mean, but it comes a point where I think at a certain age you have to decide. And I think if you have enough time, again, we're talking if you want to be the best soccer player. So if we want to talk about being a college player, it comes a point in time where you have to spend time with the ball, the technical side that we talk about. And if again, that window of time, if you miss the boat there, it can affect how far you can be. So, I mean, am I okay with doing different sports? Sure. But at a certain point, you have to decide which way you want to go.
I think that everybody should be so blessed in their life that they find their one passion and don't want to do anything else. I don't think everyone's an individual and shouldn't be forced to specialize if they don't want to, but the most ideal scenario is that your player loves soccer so much, like I did as a young player, that they couldn't be convinced to play another sport. Like the second I started, no chance. I was not going to do any other sport because there wasn't enough time. I wanted to be playing soccer all the time. So, but that being said, no one should be forced, I think, to do that.